Hello everybody, my name is Dr. Françoise Wilhelmi de Toledo. I am the scientific director of the Buchinger Wilhelmi clinics specialized in therapeutic and preventing fasting since 70 years. And I will share today some thoughts on immunity. We are ready in Überlingen in south of Germany and in Marbella, south of Spain, to welcome guests and patients from all over the world in our fasting clinics. They are now led by the new generation of young directors, of medical doctors, nurses, therapists, and the whole staff. The world needs a new attitude toward life on Earth, care for diversity, and protection of human life seen as a good for all. In times of corona, waiting for a vaccine to prevent a dreadful illness that the COVID virus can cause in some persons, I propose to focus on all the persons who have been infected and didn't develop symptoms or only mild ones. This proves that there is an efficient defense system against this virus and other microorganisms. And I would like to share with you some ways to strengthen it, to make you confident, develop your self-efficacy, and give you active ways to enhance health, longevity, and life quality. Life is possible on planet Earth, and at the same time is permanently challenged. On the one hand, we are continuously submitted to aggressions against our integrity, or let's call them challenges. On the other hand, we have a good, strong, and clever defense system that we can enhance by having a good balance, a flexible inner balance based on a good foundation, a strong immune system, and the capacity of resilience. Resilience is the ability to cope with any challenge, be it extreme, that happens to us and even grow through it. And aggressions, challenges are numerous every second. I give you 4 examples for things that are indispensable for life and at the same time can put life in danger. First of all, the sun, the main source of energy on Earth. Greens are able to capture it thanks to chlorophyll and photosynthesis. They make glucose out of it. When human eats the greens, they can extract and use the energy of the sun. At the same time, the sun is the source of dangerous radiations that can burn us, cause oxidative stress to our skin cells, and dehydrate us. Another indispensable substance is oxygen. At the beginning of life on Earth, there was very little oxygen, and several bacteria started to grow. Possibly one of them started to produce this very toxic gas called oxygen that decimated the first forms of life. But then bigger cells appeared that cooperate with bacteria capable of dealing with oxygen. They were the ancestor of our body cells that probably integrated in their structure, in their cell, this helpful bacteria, and we name them today mitochondria. Mitochondria are our cellular power plants, working most of the time safely with oxygen, being protected by membranes and a very efficient antioxidant system to limit the toxicity of oxygen. The third example of something indispensable for life, but potentially dangerous, is caring love. A baby, but also a human, can't thrive without it, but too much of it prevents its harmonious development, because humans grow with challenges. We need the challenges. The purpose of medicine shouldn't be to suppress the challenges, because that weakens our immune system. We must not depend on medicine to be strong and to be able to defend our integrity, emotionally and physically. And finally, a very strange thing, our own immune system, all these cells and substances which protect us against aggressions from bacteria, viruses, fungi, parasites, and foreign substances. These substances can damage our life and are not carrying our trademark, and thus are considered as not self. They will be discarded by our immune system. But this same immune system that saves our life can also overreact and put us in danger. For instance, when it is confronted with a product considered as an aggressor, like a particle of dust or pollen, which per se is not dangerous, but falsely interpreted as dangerous. The result can be a strong allergic reaction with release of histamine and other inflammatory substances called cytokines that can be very critical, like for instance an asthma attack, or even mortal, like an anaphylactic shock. Even actually the pandemia, coronavirus, the very severe course of the disease leading to respiratory collapse, is due to an overreaction of our immune system, called a cytokine storm, which is an overproduction of inflammatory substances who destroy the function they should protect. So let's have a closer look to those challenges, those aggressions that risk to induce illnesses or even death of cells or of the whole person. They will always be there. And we need to grow in strength and maybe in wisdom. Doing so, I intend to show you how many possibilities each of us has to actively stimulate our immunity, our self-healing potential. First, we mentioned the microorganisms that are foreign to our body and can invade us and infect us. Bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites, we have named them already. Other substances can aggress us, causing the so-called oxidative stress, which might disrupt some of our proteins, fats, or membranes, even DNA structures. I talk about pesticides and pollutants from the environment. You find them in the air, in the water, in the food, possibly even in your homes, in the furniture, the textiles, the floors. And these are products that constantly are attacking your structures. Alcohol in excess, of course, cigarette smoke, medications, radiations, and many environmental poisons we are exposed to. So let's avoid them as much as we can. And for that, we have to recognize them, be taught about these potential dangers. Another type of stress making our organisms attractive for all types of pathogens is the metabolic stress, caused, for instance, by overeating, especially ultra-processed foods or high-sugar foods or beverages, but also being overworked or any type of overexertion, even with a healthy activity like exercise. So, overworking yourselves is similar to eating ultra-processed food, unhealthy food, and eating too much. So let us remember work-life balance. A further stress that challenges our balance is the emotional stress, when we are submitted to toxic influences and persons, a toxic environment, or we are under the influence of our own toxicity. For instance, when we have negative thoughts that obsesses us, guilt feelings, shame, or low self-esteem. These feelings produce anxiety, aggressivity, which are molecules that can overactivate inflammation and weaken our capacity of defense. And of course, make us and others unhappy. Unfulfilled needs, if we are exposed to them too young, or we are not resilient enough to cope with them, can induce great emotional toxicity. The basic needs being to have a roof, a place to live, belonging to a community of family, being loved, being part of, having food, clean water, clothing, and access to body hygiene and protection. These needs are the ones who really bitterly are missing by homeless people who are especially vulnerable in times of a pandemic. A part of the microorganisms that we mentioned before, called pathogen, originate either from outside and enter our body through air, water, food, narrow contacts with other humans or animals, or they emerge inside of our body, especially if we have skin lesions, deficient mucosal lining of some organs, or we didn't cultivate a good relationship with friendly bacteria that protect us. An example of pathogenic bacteria that grow in our gut when we eat the wrong food or we don't appropriately digest it. When we eat ultra-processed food continuously, very bad junk food, our microbiome diversity decreases and protective bacteria decrease also, letting the possibility for pathogen to multiply as they want in the gut. Another example are cancer cells that are continuously produced in our body out of damaged cells which mutated, from which the DNA mutated and need to be eliminated then by our immune system. In the same manner, negative thoughts, hate, frustration can come from others, but also from inside, generated by our own mental activity. The first way to defend ourselves against aggressions is to avoid them. Live in a non-polluted area, avoid pollutants in the house, fabrics, furniture, paint, scent, candles, cleaning product, even toys that can diffuse toxic substances. Counseling in healthy home is advisable if you build a house or enter a new flat. Washing hands, body hygiene, wearing a mask, and several protections we know today, using disinfectant or other external protection help our immune system by diminishing the pathogen load. On the emotional level, avoiding frequent contact with toxic personalities or violent ones is equally advisable. Ask for help or leave them. And slowly develop consciousness to avoid getting triggered or hurt. These are long processes that spiritual life teaches us if we are ready for it or tired of suffering. Now we come to talk about our immune system, often compared to an army or a police department. It is composed of two sub-fractions, the innate immune system and the adaptive or acquired immune system. Part of the innate immune system that we already have when we are born consists first in barriers. We are protected from pathogens that try to invade our body by our skin and by the linings of our organs that are in contact with the outer world, like the respiratory system, the digestive system, the urinary system, and the reproductive system. We can contribute to the integrity of these natural borders so that they efficiently protect us and at the same time let the useful substances come in and stop the bad ones. We can build them strong and efficient by eating good fats, which are the building blocks of skin and mucosal walls, as well as cell membranes. Nuts and seeds like walnuts, almonds, hazelnuts, sesame, linseed, sunflower seeds, etc., as well as olives, and the organic cold-pressed oils that are made out of them. Stop buying industrial refined cheap oils and fats that are saturated, hydrogenated, cheap margarines, and all the cheap fats you find in the industrialized products like palm oil and coconut oil, which can be good things in small quantities and naturally produced, but in these industrial quantities they don't contain the essential fatty acids that are building strong and semi-permeable membranes. So we can be overwhelmed by pathogens that cause infections. Our skin and our mucosal walls are able to produce substances that can destroy unwanted invaders. Like in the upper respiratory airways, we produce mucus and expel undesirable gas through an active ciliary system. The stomach lining produces a very strong acid that kills most pathogens that enter the mouth and are swallowed and destroyed. In the tears, you produce lysozyme that protects the eyes, and massive presence of friendly bacteria are helping us to occupy the space so that the pathogen bacteria cannot invade it. Of course, the barriers, the natural ones, are reinforced when you take external measures like washing hands and social distancing, which a part of protecting us is a really unwanted thing for your emotional balance. When these barriers were insufficient to stop germ, bacteria, virus, fungi, parasites to enter the body, the innate immune system will quickly activate a group of cells that destroy unspecifically anything that they recognize as undesirable, not self, not our structures. Those cells are called leukocytes, most of them being neutrophils that circulate throughout the body and engulf and digest everything that they recognize as intruders, producing the pus we can see in some infected places. This reaction of the innate immune system produces also fever. That is a sign that the body is fighting against aggressors. Another very striking feature of the immune system is the production of inflammation. It's like a battlefield where sometimes, like I said before, if it's an overreaction, you will even damage the own body, and you have to repair it afterwards. So the first immune defense sometimes is not able to cope with the situation and calls a more efficient and selective detachment of the immune system called the acquired immune system or adaptive immune system. Its onset is slower, but it commands several defenses mechanisms extremely efficient, like T cells having several functions and B cells producing specific antibodies against the antigens of intruders. This immune system produces also weapons and toxic substances for the pathogens that can destroy specifically invaders, and a very important part, can remember them, so when they should come back, they would be promptly destroyed much quicker than by the first contact. And this is the principle of the vaccination. One of the great discoveries of modern medicine are the antibiotics, which are able to destroy efficiently any types of bacteria, almost any types, because in between we are exposed so much to antibiotics through the meat, because the animals are treated with them, and through so many other sources that we get, the germs get resistant to these antibiotics, and some bacteria don't respond anymore to antibiotics. But still, these are extraordinary helps to our immune system. And there are also antiviral drugs, even natural ones, that our immune system produces, for instance, the interferon. But they're not so efficient as antibiotics, so that for viruses, the prevention through the natural enhancement of our immune system, but also through vaccination, is the methods of choice. And both bacteria and viruses have the capacity to mutate permanently and escape so detection from our immune system. This is why you have to vaccinate sometimes every year against flu if you have a good indication for that, because the virus is mutating. So today's medicine saved us, at least in privileged countries, from many infectious diseases, horrible ones like polio affecting children preferentially, tetanus, smallpox, and many others. This should be extended to the whole human beings. The problematic part of it is that we neglect to transmit to children and students the knowledge that has been accumulated over generations as to what human beings can do on their own to strengthen their immunity, so that they don't passively only wait for a drug or a vaccine. We can instead make us very unwelcoming and unpleasant place for the viruses, bacteria, and other undesirable guests. We can strengthen our immune system, activated our natural eliminating functions, for instance, and cultivating our circadian rhythms and seasonal rhythms that makes us part of a cosmic and planetarian ensemble of beings, of life circles that considerably enhances our general balance and, of course, our health. There are 5 natural systems of elimination. That's the skin, that eliminates when you are active and you produce sweat, but also in the sauna. Then you have the bacterial layers on the skin. In the lungs, you have also the possibility to eliminate all sorts of acids, like the carbonic acid and substances that are possible to eliminate as gas through the expiration, the kidneys that filter permanently our blood to eliminate all the unwanted substances, sometimes just the substances that come out of our metabolism, of metabolic activities. That's not always toxical products, but them, of course, also. The toxical products must be most of the time processed by the liver, which is the next elimination organ, so that we can eliminate it through the bile and through the guts, which is a huge eliminative system. The guts with the daily bowel movement and the stimulation of this function is one of the big specialties of natural medicine, using plants to stimulate the bowel movement and to stimulate the elimination through the kidneys, and using a lot of methods, traditional methods, all types of massages, of therapies that have been invented to alleviate our intoxication or toxic load through stimulating our physiological elimination systems. The next thing I would like really to recommend to you is eat fresh, regional, plant-based. This means vegetables, some fruit, nuts and seeds, legumes, cereals, more than meat, some fish also, some eggs and milk if they are organic, but favor the plant-based foods that you cook at home or you buy from manufacturers that do it like at home without adding too much conservative and food textures and toxical products, or using bad fats or too much refined sugars. This food will give you, the fresh, regional, plant-based food will give you vitamins, minerals, and phytochemicals that your immune system needs to function properly. Eat only excellent fats. This is never be repeated enough. And this is our specialty in our fasting clinics. Fast several hours a day until your appetite is restored, you hunger, a healthy hunger feeling. And stop eating when you reach satiety. Fasting, this is intermittent fasting during the day, helped us to reinstallate the cycle of hunger and satiety, elimination, and food, eating food again. You can fast for some days, 1, 2, 5 days, with a good accompaniment, sometimes with supplements, or you can fast long term for 5 days, 10 days, 15 days, 20 days. This is what we do in our centers, and which is better done under medical supervision, and certainly under medical supervision if you are ill, if you fast because of one of the many illnesses you can improve through fasting, and also away from your everyday life, in a special setting when you can really reset your whole person, not only your metabolism, and also reflect about your life. So also reset your emotional metabolism and diminish the oxidative stress. Nourish your soul, not only your body. This is the advice of the founder of our clinics, Dr. Otto Buchinger. He is, of course, the one who made up the program we use now since 100 years. And he recommended also not to forget to feed the human soul. What is the foodstuff that feed our soul and make our soul satiated, so that we keep a good balance, emotional balance, which also will influence positively our immune system. The foodstuffs are first reading. Not forget reading biographies of great human beings. Doing a job that fits your skills and develop your potentials. Have a good social life, and on the top, guardians of your soul. Enjoy nature, its diversity, its beauty, its healing power. Enjoy arts, music, visual arts, and all the others. Take life, and especially yourself, not too seriously. Laugh, humor is a very special condiment for your soul. Have a benevolent, volunteering work for the community, for the others. And the most important, nourishment of your soul. Pray, meditate, search for inner peace and consciousness. Find your guides, medical guides, spiritual guides. Look for role models, women and men. Be physically active according to your capacity. Keep on carrying responsibilities. That was the advice of my father short before he died, healthy at the age of 100. It was a pleasure sharing this thought with you. They cannot be complete, so ask questions. We will answer them in the next video and try to pick up the things that have inspired you and deepen them. You have the whole life in front of you to strengthen your immune system, to enhance your longevity and your joy of living in this world that can be so beautiful. See you later, and thanks for listening.